All right, so we're on derived units. Derived units come from multiplying and dividing units. The reason I'm smiling is because for some reason, this is always really confusing for students. And believe it or not, you've been multiplying and dividing units in math for a while. You just aren't familiar with the term derived units. Okay, so you need to write down somewhere that derived units come from multiplying and dividing units. Interestingly enough, I typed this up for you in the chapter handout, so you should highlight it. Okay, now when we multiply and divide units, let's just talk about multiplying units first of all, I guess. So if I'm multiplying centimeters by centimeters by centimeters, that really means I'm adding the exponents on the centimeters, because technically these each have a 1 on them. Okay, so when I add those together, I get a 3. This is how they get centimeters cubed. And centimeters cubed is considered a derived unit. This is already typed up for you in the chapter handout. Okay, if I divide units, like if I take grams and I divide them by milliliters, grams per milliliter is also considered a derived unit. Okay, so make sure you understand that, and I need you to memorize 1 centimeter cubed equals 1 milliliter. You'll be using that in lab a lot. Okay, so this means if I have something in centimeters cubed, like if I told you you have 5 centimeters cubed of something, that's the same thing as 5 milliliters. Or if I give you something as 6 grams per milliliter, for example, that would be the same thing as 6 grams per centimeters cubed. Okay, let's take a look at, oh, one more thing I need you to memorize. I almost forgot. In the chapter handout, I told you that a milliliter is also equivalent to 22 drops. You need to know that because you'll be using that in lab. Okay? All right, student exercise number 15. Calculate the volume of a 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter cube of water. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. This is equal to 8 centimeters cubed. The centimeters cubed is your derived unit. I want to know what that volume is in milliliters as well. This is also the same thing as 8 milliliters. Okay. Student exercise number 16 says a sheet of aluminum foil measures 25 millimeters by 10 millimeters. And the volume is 3.75 millimeters cubed. What is the thickness of the aluminum foil in millimeters? So volume is length times width times height, right? So that's why I put 25 times 10 times x equals 3.75. So what you want to do here is divide both sides by 25 and 10 so that you can solve for x. So we're going to divide both sides by those two. When we do that, it's going to cancel out on the left-hand side, leaving me with x. And on the right-hand side, it's going to be 3.75 millimeters cubed divided by 25 by 10. Okay. You have to figure out what the denominator is in parentheses if you're going to put this into your calculator in one step. So 3.75 divided by parentheses 25.0 times 10. Close the parenthesis. You're going to end up with 0.015. Add a 0 on the end because you need to have 3 significant figures because everything has 3 significant figures here. Okay? And that's your answer. Now, there tends to be confusion on the derived units worksheet because it's not exactly the way that the examples in the video or the chapter handout were. Okay? You've got to really read this. I gave you everything in words rather than in numbers, if that makes sense. And so if you need to get a highlighter and read it, then do that. But this is part of just like developing your critical thinking and critical reading skills in my class, which you're going to be using a lot. Okay, so you're going to be doing the work in the blank, and I explained it to you in words how to do it. And then when you get the derived unit, whatever the unit is, whether it was multiplied or whether it was divided, you write the unit here in the blank. Okay, and that's it.